So today I'm headed off to the grocery store for step one, part of my meal strategy. My menu for the day is potato soup and caramel apple cranberry pie. It's actually going to be caramel apple raspberry pie because cranberries are out of season right now, and some homemade bread.
Start with pie crust, and for our pie crust we are going to start with 2 cups of cold all-purpose flour. Okay, so I have kept this in the freezer so it is cold and it is ready to go. And a lot of people will use a bread maker or a mixer of some sort. I believe in my statement, cook like grandma used to, and my grandma did not have a lot of high-tech stuff. She was from the Great Depression era, and she cooked on a wood stove her whole life until she moved into an apartment whenever she was older. I'm going to grab my butter out of the fridge. I kept it in the fridge to keep it cold. You are going to use 1 cup of unsalted butter. So a good way to remember this is if you start with 2 cups of flour, you are going to have half that amount in fat whenever you do your crust. And then you're going to half it again whenever you do your water most of the time. So like I said earlier, I will do half a cup of ice water, which I have chilling in the freezer right now, or you can do 1/4 cup ice water and 1/4 cup of vodka, because that just decreases the amount of gluten that's made with the flour. So here we go. And for me, I will mix these until it starts to look or resemble cornmeal. So we've started with flour. You want to mix all of your dry ingredients first. And then I will have 1 tablespoon of sugar. Here's my sugar. Then I will go on, I will do 1 teaspoon of salt with this. Then I will mix my ice water and I will mix that together. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of this so that you can see the process. And if you see me looking down, I wrote this down just so I don't forget to tell you any of the steps, because whenever I get going, sometimes I will just forget to tell you what I'm doing. So here we go. And this is 1 tablespoon of sugar. And then I will use 1 teaspoon of salt. Here's my 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to mix all of these dry ingredients together now. So 2 sticks of unsalted butter. 2 sticks is 1 cup. And I will begin by cutting these in with a pastry cutter. And I will cut them in until they're about pea size, and then I will finish it out with my hands. And if you enjoy this video at the end, go ahead. I have other videos that I will be uploading. Like I said, I have loaded baked potato soup, which we're going to make for dinner, which I actually have the potatoes going in the Instapot at the moment to get those ready, just to cut down on some of my time. So while I'm making my pie, my potatoes are, set them and forget them. And so I will upload that video also. If you are interested in some more cooking videos, go ahead and click subscribe, like my video, drop me a comment. If you'd like to join my email list or follow me on Facebook, I have a Facebook group going, a Facebook page. And if you join my page or my email list, I have a free PDF checklist for cooking like grandma, just some simple tips or tricks that I use to keep myself on task, keep my sanity, and get things rolling to take less time. One of the challenges for me as a mom and a cook is that I started out feeling like I just didn't have enough time. But once I set the habits on that checklist into place, I realized that I do have the time. And, you know, there's so many benefits to home cooking and family style meals and just the love that goes into it. You want to transform your family. Take that hour out of your day in the evenings. You know, I mean, you can do a one skillet meal, takes 30 minutes. Take 15 to 30 minutes sitting at the dinner table with your family. Talk about their day. Get to know your kids a little better. Don't sit in front of the TV. Turn the TV off. Put your phones away. Throw them across the room. Unplug for a minute. That's kind of my motto here lately, is just sit back, relax, and say, who cares? The way this crazy world is going, you know, we're building memories with these kids. We're building and making the future. This is not just about cooking. This is about a culture. This is about a culture that is slowly fading away or dying out. And we should grab a hold of it with both hands and say, no, we value this. I mean, one of the greatest things about my grandma was that she was, I mean, honestly, in the kitchen a lot, probably all day, every day, because she enjoyed it, first of all. But second of all, she was teaching me life lessons, imparting some wisdom. And I can remember sitting there and just feeling the love in that kitchen. And that's my dream, is to pass that on. So whenever my children have children, that they can say, you know, the one thing we remember about Anisi is the love. Okay, so I've got my fat cut in. It's about pea size. And we're getting it down to where it resembles cornmeal. Okay, whenever I say cornmeal, this is kind of what we want it to look like, want it to resemble. It's going to resemble meal whenever you're all done with it. And here in just a moment, we're going to pull our ice water out, and we are going to gradually mix in about half a cup of that. Sometimes this is a judgment call. Sometimes you may need a little more or a little less. Like I said, cooking for me is intuitive. Whenever you tap into that higher faculty, as one of my mentors would say, you tap into that higher part of yourself and use some intuition whenever you're cooking, you can kind of feel whenever it's coming together. It's almost like I kind of compare it to bowling. Whenever I am bowling and I have made a strike, I can just turn around and walk away, and I know that I have made a strike. I don't even have to see it, because I can feel that all the mechanics came together. And that's kind of, for me, what bread making and making crust is kind of like. I can feel it whenever all the mechanics and all of the things have come together. Like right now, I can tell you that just the consistency of this mixture right here, this is coming together really good. This is coming together well. Okay, so we are ready for the ice water. And I am going to start out with 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to start this with my hands. It's okay to get messy. I used a little less than 1/2 a cup. I'm just barely going to add some. I just need a little bit more moisture here. Here's the fun part, whenever it is all together. That's looking good. That's looking fantastic. And if you add too much water and say it gets a little sticky, you can add just a little bit of flour in there to take that up. Mine is still just a little sticky, but once you have made this, you are going to refrigerate this for 20 minutes while you start making the filling for your pie. So here's my ball of crust. And you're going to take this ball of crust and you are going to separate it into 3 equal parts. So there's 1. There's my plastic wrap. And I'm actually only going to separate it into 2. I'm going to do 1 smaller, well, maybe 3. I'm going to make sure that they're about equal size, yeah. And then I'm going to leave these 2 together. So here's my smaller one. I'm going to wrap it in my plastic wrap. And these are going to go in the freezer, or in the refrigerator, not freezer, for 20 minutes. That is my pie crust. Pie crust complete.